Hello.
Well,
Hello. All right, everybody. So I only have a couple of things on my end. Let me share real quick. So I think like we discussed last time, I realized that some of the documents that we had created last time that we had created when we authored the original TLL spec weren't on the drive. So I finally got around to putting some up there. These had been emailed around before. And I shared with Boppy and I thought would eventually go somewhere and did not realize that he didn't put them anywhere before he left. So they're on the Google Drive now. Um, these are the other bus protocol variants. So one of these, so okay, this needs to be renamed. I'll rename that when I get a chance. I need to make these into Google Docs, but I wanted to at least get them up there. Um, these were these were some things that we were creating at the same time when we were doing the when we were coming up with the concept of bus protocol variant, and we went through the exercise in the working group of mapping some ones. So like I have arm trace bus here, right, as an example. Oh, it's going to take forever. Oh, there it goes. I'm going to return these into Google Docs so they're a little more editable and we can look at them. And again, they're not says the doc's named right, but for some reason I had the file name wrong. Again, I'll fix all that. Anyway, those are up there now. So if you wanted to take a look at, if anybody wants to take a look at those, they can.
Can you paste the link again in the chat?
This is the same work in progress folder that we shared last time. One second. Yeah. And so I was thinking in terms of conversation topics and stuff for this meeting. One thing we should put on the agenda either today, either for today if nobody has anything else, or for a future meeting would be for whether we need to start whether it would be good to start maintaining a list of like requests for bus protocol variants that, if we do have time or if people want to spend some effort scoping out, they can take a stab at in terms of bus protocol variants that they think would make sense. Again, nothing again, I'm treating most of these as more example documents than prescriptions. To like from a standards perspective, right? There's not a lot of checks on these. These are more like recommendations. And I think they become a little more codified if they get used in a profile, because profiles are more likely to actually define what a full interface looks like. And I'd also like to, per Jeff's mention earlier, I think there was some discussion about unifying some of the formats around these because, like I said, some of the document names, some of the document formats are not quite the same between them. Jeff, I went to go look for the other ones, and I think I just have PDFs based on the ones that David made. Can you get a hold of like
So
doc versions from your side of the all the other profiles and variants that Ventana authored, and then I can turn them all back and I can all get them in the same Google Doc format and maybe make them look cohesive.
Yeah, I can work on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess on a similar topic, while we're talking, Jeff, there's any updates from your side about the UCIe stuff?
Yeah, I need to find out what's the official way to make the contributions. Trying to figure out the process there, but we're very close to releasing it. So
Okay.
I hope to get that out within a week or two.
Um,
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Well, if you have, as I was going to move on to another topic, Helia, do you have one? Do you have another follow up here with Jeff?
I had a follow-up on the format of these documents and the profiles.
Okay.
So I think these would be good if we add a link to them to the main page of the OCP. Call it wiki page, I think.
Yes.
And I wonder if under what title are these white papers? They don't seem like spec, but are these, I think there are a few formats that the OCP can publish on there.
So for the bus protocol variants, you can call them examples, I would say. I mean, you just call them bus protocol variants. I mean, us as a standard, we don't have like, we're not doing any certification testing. I don't think we're enforcing any kind of trademark specifically on the name bus protocol variant or anything like that. And and we're not considering this a specification per se. So example fits if there's some other, they're like a white paper, but they're not a white paper because they're not really trying to demonstrate anything or anything like that. But they're meant to be tools used in writing interface profiles.
Examples and tools. So let's see what recommendation we get for the type of document that we can publish them and put them on the main page. While this drive is accessible by anybody who has the link, it is not nicely publicized. So if this is a type of document that we want to get a lot of reviews and foot traffic on, we probably want to put them on there.
So I put this up here because it wasn't anywhere else. I had assumed these were on the GitHub and I never really checked. So that's why I put them here. So that, at least the people in this working group can, go check out the best protocol variants.
Yep. Thanks for doing that. Otherwise,
so I think the order of actions here should be, let me get the other sources from Jeff and we'll try and align these so that they're all presentable in the same way. And then we can put them put them in a subsection of the wiki. And like we said, we'll just call them bus protocol interface profiles of bus protocol variants, right? Have its own subsection in the wiki maybe. And then we'll have a paragraph illustrating what these are meant to be, right? These aren't like, it's again, from the standards perspective, it's not to be meant to be dictatorial. It's meant to be example based. And I think at some point in the future, we'll find people like specific ones and we'll figure out a way to bless them in some way, if that makes sense.
I think we should work towards it being specifications, right? I mean,
Yeah, but I don't want to like,
but yeah,
again, most of the documents that I wrote haven't seen the silicon.
Yeah.
So, again, they haven't gone through any kind of other kind of testing or anything like that. It's just, David and I talking for the most part. So, I don't want to like, I don't want to be on high with these, if that makes sense.
no, but I think the end goal should be, these should be specifications that get defined within a community of users, right? Or chiplet vendors.
Yeah.
Such that, this could become an interoperable, the interoperable standards between chiplets.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd also like to point out that, when we're signing the IP agreements and stuff like that, it's around the transaction link layer specification. And that these ancillary documents that we're talking about, I don't know how they're covered specifically, right? There wasn't like a release, there wasn't a release thing for these because they're just meant to be examples, right? Of how to use the specification. So if we do say, we probably need another name for interface profiles and how they use bus protocol variants when we actually call them a spec. That goes to the final IP process, if that's even needed. I don't know, because again, all these documents that are here are really just providing values for variables that are defined in the specification, if that makes sense.
And I'm not sure. I mean, I understand your point that these are examples at this point because they haven't been through a rigorous review process. But I would think that they end up being specifications for how you would map these different bus variants to the transaction layer, right?
Yeah. Well, I agree. And
Okay.
I think at some point we do need to find a way of I don't know, I'm using a lot of religious metaphors here, but some way to bless a profile and say, this has our full authority and support.
Yeah. And then in terms of where to store them, I mean, I kind of agree that I haven't seen the wiki get established for the link layer group yet.
That was another topic I was going to bring up. Kelia, have you heard anything about us getting a wiki link? Because they said it was going to get set up.
No, I haven't. That's something I want to follow up and then maybe get some clarity on what kind of template would suit these profiles better. I'll circle back with email or next week.
Okay. And then I would say that you would have a link, maybe some introduction into these different specifications, and then we'd link to some kind of database where you can store them, or would they all be visible on the wiki? Because I think they could get out of control, right? You could have a lot of different bus variants, specifications, and profile specifications.
So we can't put them in the database unless they've gone through the IP process, right? So for the spec, I think our link on the wiki just goes into the database. On the For the other ones, you know,
Mhm.
we need some other storage mechanism until we've decided what the IP the IP blessing part is, right? So GitHub or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So again, I don't know how our GitHub is controlled. Again, the only person that was pushing things was David back in the day. So I guess that's something we also need to sort out, whether we're going to continue to use that or whether links on the wiki would just be links into this.
Google Drive.
Yeah.
And then I think you'd need a different Google Drive, right? With permissions that,
And this is open. We just don't publish the link.
yeah.
So anybody that can find this can open it. It's viewable by anybody. They just can't comment or edit necessarily.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm new. This is my first time attending the meeting. Okay.
Hi.
From the I think there's an issue right now is that I mean, since I'm a new user, right? I actually went through the website and then it linked me to the GitHub. Okay, and the information that I find in the GitHub is, I mean, right now you show this secondary specification.
It's a little stale. The stuff on the GitHub's a little stale. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And the information that you show right now is also totally different version from the GitHub. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite misleading in that sense for new user who actually go through the main website and then go to the GitHub, and the information that they read is you know, different from what the working group right now is discussing right now.
Right.
So I think it does how to say, create an issue for new user like me, right? Where I've been reading the information there. I don't see any update for the past few years. And right now, by attending this meeting, I know about this link. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
so
we understand. Yeah. This has been a discussion for the last month. We're
yes.
trying to figure out what a better way to deal with this is. And honestly, I don't even, I'm the current one editing the spec, me and Helia, and at least I don't have even permissions on the GitHub. It was the last editor from a couple of years ago that was publishing stuff to the GitHub. So we need to sort that out and potentially just get those documents updated. The stuff on the GitHub isn't severely out of date. It's just, there was just some minor, I think, typos between the 0.94 version and the 1.0 version. And the 1.0 version is on the OCP website itself. So if you want the transaction link layer 1.0, it's on the website itself. And for the bus protocol variants and the interface profiles, these are basically the same documents. There might be small changes, but they're basically the same thing. But there's a couple more here that I had authored that David, the previous editor, didn't get up on the GitHub before he left. So you're absolutely right, though. We need to synchronize these things. And again, the goal here is to get the wiki. We have a wiki that'll soon be done whenever we get the link back. And that'll have a more user-friendly presentation for where the specs are, what the current work is going on, when the next one will come out, those kinds of things. So we do have a new version of the transaction and link layer spec you probably saw on the in the work in progress folder that we're integrating in the control path with
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, but the actual the transaction link layer itself is not getting changed in that. We're just rewriting sections to introduce the control path and add the control path. The Rev A is that you have on the website, even the 0.94, because I don't think anything functionally changed between 0.94 and 1.0. All all compatible. There's no change to the actual protocol. We're just adding new features and new things to it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Oh, and I saw you added some comments, I think, right?
Yes. I added some comment from the reading.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I haven't had a chance to respond to these yet, but I think these are mostly just typos. Like this one, yes, it's supposed to say message here. I can fix that. It's just I didn't link. It's supposed to link to this table all the way up here.
Yeah,
This
it's
100.
okay. Well, I'm reading it. I was trying to relate it to the previous, but I can't find it. That's why I put the comment there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pardon me for asking a lot of questions because this is
No
also
worries. It helps me reformat. Anyway, I gotta because I have to tear up this format anyway as I integrate it into the other document. So if there's things I need to fix, it's good to highlight those so that I fix them as I'm redoing the document in the other format.
okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And then I think again most of them are typos. This one right here, is this just a clarifying statement? Yeah, we're only doing 24 bits of address because it's not meant to cover the full address space of the partner. If that makes sense. I mean, you can add any kind of add registers and register mapping windows and things like that you want in there, but I don't think we weren't going to hit 32-bit, so it wasn't. We weren't going to hit 64-bit, so or 40-bit, so why? I don't think it was a problem to hit. Wasn't a push to hit 32. I don't remember the full discussion there though. Yeah, and everything else is pretty much typo. And yeah, we'll fix this. We'll fix this as well, like we just said. Okay. Let's see. What did I say? Yeah, and I'll fix I'll try and get around to fixing the formatting on these before we get the wiki up. Jeff, it doesn't look like we're going to meet your deadline though for your conference on the 10th is my guess.
You mean for the RISC-V summit? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, didn't you say you were going somewhere May 10th?
Yeah. It's but that's not really a hard deadline, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think writing the wiki would be pretty fast once we get a link, but we're not there yet.
Right. Oh, you're talking about where I want to point people to the right place. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the parent directory to this working directory? Is it an OCP?
I think it's our drive. This is the end of the root here that I have.
Okay.
It's the open chiplet economy.
Previously. Can you share that?
I guess we don't share it with anybody else. I don't know. Helia, do you know?
I think this is our sub-project. The open chiplet, which used to be ODSA.
Is this the right one? Let me make sure.
But it seems we are the main user.
This is 1.0. Yeah.
Can you share the link to that directory?
Yeah. Can you share this link because the link below is unable to come up here from.
I don't know how to generate a link here. No, again, maybe Helia can.
Because I can the link that you provide just now, I only can go into the work in progress as well as the work in progress.
Yeah,
That's
this
all.
is what I shared. Yeah, and
Yes.
then you should be able to go into these secondary specs that I uploaded.
Yes,
I
but
can
the
share
one
you
that
a link to this if you
this
want.
one, yes.
I sent a link. Can you check if it's working?
Can you guys check the one that you just
You have to
sent?
request access.
Okay, here's a link to the documents folder.
You couldn't access that link?
No, when you go to try to access it, you have to ask for permission. Which I just requested, but I probably won't hear back on
I think probably someone else would get. How about this link?
it. Isn't that the one that Ryan sent?
Yes, that is the work in progress and that is the document, and those are the only two folders that we have under the top layer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Brian had shared this one and the documents link.
Yeah,
But
that
it would just be nice if you could see the parent directory, right? They were creating stuff underneath.
somehow that is not public. I see only few people have access, so I wonder if
Hmm.
that was intentional. But I can. The notification did not come to me, so can wait and see. Or maybe you can put your email here and I try to add you.
Yeah, at least for me, this shows up as a shared drive. So the root link might not be a directory link. It might be a
Shared drive, yeah.
a drive permission thing.
So Jeff, if you give me email, I can try to see if I can add you to that shared drive.
Yeah, I request access and now I'm able to see it already.
Oh, you got access?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I requested but didn't get access still. I went ahead and put my email in the chat.
Okay. I don't have any other topics for today. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up? Like I said, I think my next action items, in addition to like just continuing on with the editing of the transactionally clear, are I'm gonna try and sync the bus protocol variants. So everything looks and is presented similar, the same. I think they're all very similar. It's just small formatting things, I think, probably. I need to make sure the documents are named correctly too. So I think one of them's not named right. And then I'll probably turn those all into Google Docs while I'm at it as well. Just to make sure they're all well, that'll all go to the look and feel thing too. So I think that's one of the differences between mine and David's as well. I think he authored everything in Google Docs and I authored everything in Word. But anyway, I'll get those sorted at the same time as we're doing the TLL and stuff. And then whenever we get the wiki link, we'll put some links up there to get that going. Again, I think we should all think about whether any other bus protocol variants make sense. Being friendly with the RISC-V community, PyLink might make sense, though most RISC-V implementations end up using AMBA after a while. But there's still a lot of TileLink stuff out there. So maybe TileLink makes sense to do a bus protocol variant for as well. And there's a couple of different variations different flavors you'd have to do on that probably. There's also some heat in the community about memory tagging and cherry and things like that. And while we do already kind of support memory tagging in our AXI5 flavors, maybe it makes sense to synchronize a little bit more and make another variant on that eventually too. That's all making a variant of the AXI or TileLink, whatever, that is a little more synchronized with how people are using cherry enablement bits and things like that on the buses, so that you can create a unified cherry memory space between chiplets. Not a high priority. I think people are still trying to struggle how to do that in subsystems. And then there's other buses thrown out there, but those it might make sense to put a list on here of buses that should probably be worked on, as we go forward in terms of making examples or making bus protocol variants for, so people don't have to start from ground zero when they're doing their implementations, or they can take them wholesale and build in a more standard interface for themselves. Any other topics people want to bring up?
I was thinking also we might want to define classes of profiles, and maybe organize the profiles in those kind of categories. For example, like
that's a good idea. Oh,
yeah.
It kind of goes to the whole blessing idea, the blessing discussion that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So you're thinking at least I don't know, example class is probably not the right word, but I mean, we could just define them ABC or something like that and then just give definitions.
Yeah, I guess. Sense? Yeah. Could we just break them into categories and like coherent compute elements or non-coherent accelerators or memory?
Well, technically, I think we only have two profiles, so
we can expand upon it, right?
Absolutely, but do we need to do that formally though? Because we can just do that in the wiki. Just make some buckets for listing them.
Yeah, I guess it would be working towards a more generalized profile rather than, let's say, Ventana's profile. Because right now it's pretty specific. So
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, because the profile you can name it whatever you want to name it, right? So yeah, so there's Ventana's profile, and I think we authored one other one that was like just AXI back on both bidirectional AXI. Okay. So as again, it was always meant to be an example.
Yeah, yeah, I'm wondering if we can work towards maybe general profiles that apply more broadly across chiplets, right?
Sure. I mean, it kind of goes to what a Ty was asking for, or eventually, ways to standardize actual chiplet interfaces.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no problem with that as well.
Okay.
But I do like the thought in terms of like classifications in terms of spec progress for some of these things, I think might also solve some of the problems I was having earlier in terms of this whole IP stuff, right? Again, just making, we can just call it how about we just label all the current interface profiles and bus protocol variants as drafts? And we can either call them, and then, for the ones that we feel like, hey, these are the ones that we want the community to use. We changed it from draft to certified. Does that make that distinction clear enough?
Yeah, I guess where I thought you were going was we mark documents draft as ones that we think could develop into a specification over time, right? And endorsed by the community. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we could make it a little more clear. We can say like draft Rev A, draft Rev B, those kinds of things. So if people want to refer to, let's say somebody goes and writes an interface profile, right? And we haven't certified anything because again, none of the profiles are going through the IP process. So let's just say, they're making their own profile. You know what? I'm going to use best protocol variant, AXI5. Excuse me. AXI5 draft Rev A, variant, coherent or whatever, right? And I know so you know exactly what you're talking about, but we don't give it a rev unless it's been published to the wiki or something like that. So we'll take all the variants and protocols, right? Interface profiles we have right now. We'll synchronize them so they all look exactly the same, and then we'll call them all draft Rev A. And so if people want to build die-to-die specs with the interface profiles, or they want to build new interface profiles based on the bus protocol variants, they have a way of referring to these things that is static. And then if we make updates to any of them, we say draft Rev B. If we get to the point where a ties working group is like, all right, we need something that is like, in stone for the die-to-die interface that we're publishing to everybody else that includes whatever else he's including, then we'll say, okay, well, we'll just call this one certified Rev A, or something like that. It has to go through some process that I don't, again, it's kind of not a full spec. Maybe you have to add more to it, or maybe it's just included in their spec that they go through their IP process for. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Sorry, last question. Since I'm new here, I'm reading the specification, if there's any question, who can I refer to?
You can ping me if you want. I think we have a mailing list too.
Because I did try to write to the mailing in the OCP. There's a information email there, but sometimes I don't get response.
I haven't seen anything. Did you guys see his emails on the reflector?
I haven't received that. How does communication over the document sound? Leaving comments.
Yeah, I can see your comments. I just haven't had a chance to respond.
No, I
So,
mean
yeah,
in general, let's say for example, I'm reading link layer spec, right, that was being released, and there are some question or not clear. So
ah,
how should I provide comment, or who should I actually write to if there are some question?
I think the general response to that question is should be the reflector. But I don't
Okay.
know the reflector email offhand. Let me see. Is it the Helia? Is it the groups.io email?
Yes, we do have a group.io. Trying to.
It's the. Are you getting the group notifications? The OCP Open Chiplet Economy link/layer at ocp-all.groups.io. Are you getting those from like the calendar and stuff?
I mean, for this meeting, is someone forward to me? That's why I was able to join, but I didn't
Oh,
know.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is
Sorry.
let's see. How do I get the group IO here? I can view online here. I can send you, you can probably, hold on one second. You might be able to subscribe from this link.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry.
Yeah, and so I think that'll give you at least the calendar notices and stuff. And then I don't know if that gets you on the full reflector and stuff or not.
I think you need to add yourself. You can add yourself, for example, to the link layer.
Oh, here's the base link.
Oops.
19 members. Yeah, you can hit join this group from that page. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, so on that
Yeah,
second
thanks.
page, it
I
said
managed to
there's a
join.
post link. If you email that post link, I think it goes to everybody in this group, but there's 19 people.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
Probably also good information for the wiki page. Okay. All right. Hey guys, thanks for joining, and we'll follow up next week.
Thanks so much.
Thanks everybody. Bye.